I made a huge mistake with the first seeds I planted of the season. Maybe you've had this happen. They germinated just fine, grew well initially, but they just stopped. But before I figured out the problem, I had to act quickly if I was going to save them. And thankfully, as you can see here, this story has a happy ending. And I'm glad it happened. Not only did I learn something I didn't know, even after 13 years of successfully starting seeds indoors, but I can also pass it along to you. So first, I'll share what I did that made these seedlings go from this to this in just 9 days. And then I'll share what I discovered the problem was, so neither of us will make this mistake again. Let's go back to that day when I knew I had to take action fast. If you recall the last video where I showed you the first couple of weeks of indoor seed starting, lettuce, cauliflower, broccoli, cabbage, parsley, celery, I showed you exactly what I did with indoor seed sowing, all the way into putting them under 2 different types of grow lights to compare them, one an LED and one a T5 fluorescent. And then I showed you how I thinned those seedlings, most of them to 1 seedling per cell. I did leave a couple of 2 seedling cells just to compare, which honestly, now that I've noticed some things have gone wrong, I'm really glad that I did that. But now let's talk about what didn't go as planned. After I thinned those seedlings, I expected immediate growth because that's typically what happens. Not only do you get 1 seedling per cell that loves having all of that space to itself, but you also have the new true leaves coming and just growth starts multiplying a lot more rapidly at this stage. But I noticed that with these seedlings, both these that were underneath my T5 fluorescent and with these that were underneath the LED, I was noticing the same thing. There was a stall in growth and the seedlings themselves didn't look super healthy. At first I thought, is it a watering thing? Am I watering too much? Am I watering too little? And then I started seeing some of the first cotyledons, the leaves were looking a little bit yellowish. I thought, well, maybe they need some extra fertilizer, even though I've never fertilized at this stage. I've never had to, but I did end up adding a little bit of liquid fertilizer just to see if it would help. They have greened up just a little bit, but when I started looking back to the seed starting mix that I used, I started questioning whether I used the right seed starting mix. Because if I'm seeing the same thing happen underneath 2 different grow lights in 2 different ways of growing and the same signs are there, it makes me wonder what's up with this seed starting mix. Instead of completely scrapping all of these seedlings that have germinated, because honestly, not all of them are bad. The lettuce is actually doing just fine. It's the brassicas that are suffering the most, and I'm going to pot up these brassicas into a Happy Frog soil mix, which is generally what I would use to pot up a seedling anyway. It's got everything you need for potting up. It's got a little bit of fertilizer to help get the seedlings going. So I'm gonna go ahead and pot those up so you're along for the ride with me and we'll just see how this goes. The first thing I'm going to start out with here are the seedlings that were under the T5 fluorescents, and I think I'm going to start out with this snow crown cauliflower. You can kind of see how they're looking, and I'm going to pot them up into these 4-cell trays. So right now I've got them in the 6-cell epic cell trays, and now I'm going to pot them up to the 4-cell, which is a little bit larger. Over here I have my Happy Frog soil mix, and it's already been moistened to be ready to go. And then next I'm going to dip the roots here into a mixture of organic Rev and water. I do this anytime I pot up my seedlings, but definitely want to do it for this because these seedlings are going to have a little bit of transplant shock. And 50-50 is about right. I usually just eyeball it. And the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this cell of the cauliflower, I'm going to pop it out. And the great thing about brassicas like these is they are very easy to separate, especially when they're young like this. So I'm just going to take it, I'm going to separate them gently. So I have 2, and I'm going to go ahead and try to get both of these because I just don't know what kind of trauma this is going to invite. So I'm going to soak this here in the Rev. I'm gonna do this for every one of them. Now this one here, this was a late one, so I'm just gonna discard that and leave this by itself. Got good root systems already pretty intact here. Next, I'm gonna take one of these cells here, one of these trays, these epic cell trays, and I'm gonna fill about halfway with Happy Frog. And again, this is already moistened. It's got a little bit of moisture, so the roots can already have some to go along with it. And next I'm just going to take my seedling here and gently, you can see how it's drenched with that organic rev, and I'm going to plant it to where the top is right at the level of the container here. And I'm going to take some more of this Happy Frog. You can use, what I've done in the past is if I didn't have Happy Frog, I would use regular Pro Mix, any kind I think would be fine, and I would add organic fertilizer to it. Because at this point, when the seedling has one leaf, one true leaf, these are cotyledon seed leaves, these will come off eventually anyway, so you really just need to be looking at the health of that one true leaf. That will need to start taking in some nutrition. Brassicas are not going to develop roots on their stems. Tomatoes will, so if you ever need to do this with tomatoes, you can put them really deep in the container, and that's actually really good. For these, we just want the top to be level with the soil line. It looks like I have 9, and I have 8 cells, so I'm going to take the most strong 8, and then that 9th one will probably be this one. That true leaf isn't super developed, so I'll probably discard that one. Now we have 8 of the snow crown cauliflower, and I do like to go in and add a little bit of water to the top just to make sure it's fully saturated and definitely help those roots get the moisture they need. And next I'll go to the next one. This one will be our tiara cabbage, and then I will do my broccoli and just continue going with these brassicas until they are completely potted up. It has only been 9 days, and look at all of these seedlings. I could tell a marked difference after only 1 day. By comparison, the seedlings before stayed that same size for about the same amount of time in that soil, and I'm so glad I caught it in time. But while I was watching these plants grow day by day, I knew I had to figure out what went wrong with the first seed starting mix so I didn't repeat the problem. And here's what I found. When I went to purchase the Pro Mix potting mix from my local landscaping company way back last summer, I didn't pay any attention to what kind of potting mix it was. Chalk it up to ignorance, but I hadn't really paid attention to the fact that different mixes have different compositions. The particular mix that I bought that day, because that's the one that I found in bulk, was Pro Mix MPX, which I figured out later is a special blend formulated for high water retention. And while this would be a great mix for containers, it spelled disaster for seed starting. Not only that, but when I sifted this mix to remove any chunks, which is good to do in general, so there's a fine texture for the delicate new roots to grow in, it actually worked against me. Those larger chunks provided a fibrous structure and critical air porosity. Essentially, this would allow oxygen pockets critical to the health of the roots. But roots in oxygen-deprived soil can't absorb nutrients, which can lead to the yellowing that I saw on some of my leaves. That's why even when I added fertilizer, it didn't help. But now that I know this, how will I prevent this from happening in the future? The easiest is to purchase a mix specifically formulated for seed starting, but those can get expensive, especially if you buy them in the small bags. For the amount of seeds that I start, which is a lot, that's probably not going to be my choice. So I have a few other choices. One, I could make my own mix, a mix of around 4 parts peat moss, 1 part perlite, 1 part vermiculite, and 1 tablespoon of lime per gallon of mix that will buffer the pH of the peat moss, which is typically pretty acidic. Or number 2, I can buy a potting mix that doesn't retain water and is recommended for seed starting, like the Pro Mix FPX blend, or I could use Happy Frog. Happy Frog was what I used to pot these seedlings up in, and you can see already what a great blend it was for this. But many gardeners have found this to work well in seed starting as well. Now, like I said, this story thankfully has a happy ending, and I hope that seeing what troubleshooting and potting up when there's a soil issue can do for your seedlings. And maybe this will help you know what you can do should you run into any problems like I did this year. I know how frustrating it can be when you're starting seeds indoors, especially if you're just beginning and you run into problems like I had. And if you're new at it, you just may give up. And my hope is that this will give you some hope that there is something you can do possibly to save your plants if the issue is the seed starting mix. And if you're new to starting broccoli, cabbage, and cauliflower, or if you've done it in the past and haven't gotten the results that you want, I have a free guide called the Broccoli, Cabbage, and Cauliflower Quick Start Guide that you can download at the link in the description.